corporate recruiter here to review your resumes. The resume we have up first is a nightmare, and I know that because their ratio is awful. So, your ratio, how many applications it takes to get an interview. Anything under 1 in 50 is okay. Anything above 150, or anything above 1 to 50, terrible. This person has 150 plus, so I imagine this is an absolute garbage nightmare of a resume. This is for a data analyst. So for data analyst, what we need is degree, industry, SQL, data visualization, Tableau, Power BI, Looker, stakeholders, explaining technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders. Nobody seems to put that, but that's really critical. How you solved a problem with the data, not what the data is. Also really, really need that new data analysts. Everyone messes that up. They tell about how they got the data with like Monte Carlo, whatever. Nobody cares. They just want to know what you used it for. MS Excel, macros, pivot tables, VLOOKUP, Word, Python, R, multiple projects and deadlines, and a bonus for cloud. So that's what we need. And recruiters only have 20 seconds to find it. So can I find those in 20 seconds? No, I don't think I can because this is 151. Also, I do more than tech. It's just, to be clear, like 50% of the people that submit to me are in tech because tech is in a giant downturn right now. So I do non-tech resumes. But right now we're doing this one. And go. This is an abomination. Okay. Degree, good. Analyze student records. What do I... Okay. Employment trends is okay. Design KPI. That's not what I'm looking for. You already mentioned this. This is so hard to read. Oh my gosh. This is why you don't bold anything. Handshake. Presented. Okay. Whoa. So, no. This is a definite delete. Let me see what you wrote. Is I've been customizing a resume for the job descriptions. Well, that's your problem. You should never do that. I'm here to tell you right now, there are two things that matter when you apply. There's how fast you apply, and there's also the quality, like the relevancy of your resume to the job. So, when you take your time to customize your resume, you lower your time to submit, which lowers your chances. But you also need to have your resume relevant to the role. So what you do is not customize your resume for each and every role. You customize it to the job title you want. Use the job title resume, and then use that resume to mass apply. Because right now this person is kind of doing everything wrong here. This is more of my general data analyst resume. Okay, so. Oh boy. First off, I'm going to need you to do me a favor, and I'm going to need you to highlight... Oh, I can't even highlight it correctly. Highlight all of this, and I want you to hit Control-B on your keyboard, because this is very hard to read. This is why you stop bolding things, people. You know what should be bolded? Your name, your education insert, your work history, and then your project, if you put a project history instead of work history. That's it. Those are the only things that should be bolded in your entire resume. It should look like this. This is the template you want to use that will get you a job, assuming your bullet points are good. Your bullet points are more important than your formatting. But this is easy to read. This is a nightmare. As you could tell, I only got down to like here, and I kind of skipped stuff. So, formatting-wise, this is so bad. So bad. I couldn't find anything. So, let's go to the actual content. Because again, formatting does matter. Bullet points matter more, but formatting does matter. This is a nightmare. This person stated open to relocation. No. Bad. Never, ever, ever put open to reload. That is a red flag. Hiring managers and recruiters that are green will see somebody that say open to reload, and in the very beginning, they'll be like, oh, cool, awesome. And then what will happen is push comes to shove, they won't relocate. So never, ever, ever put open to reload. What you should instead do, if you're applying to a job out of state, is put instead, moving to X by Y date can move earlier if needed. This implies to the hiring team that regardless of whether or not you get the role, you are going to move so that you are, by that logic, serious about moving and won't leave us in the lurch. So never put open to reload, only put moving to X date by Y date. That is what you want to do instead. And that can actually go under here, like between these two. That could be a very quick summary, and that's all you need to say. Then we go down to here. Analyze 2,000 student records. Who cares? Using Python, this part is good. Python, SQL, and Excel. Okay, good. Stop bolding it, but good. To identify engagement and employment trends. What do you mean engagement and employment trends? What was the point of identifying them, right? Like, you told me how you got the data, not what you used to get the data and what the data was for, right? Like, identify engagement and employment trends. I need to know the reason for that. What was the point of doing that? Right? What was the point of analyzing those records? You did not tell me, because I don't know what the point of identifying engagement and employment trends is. You don't tell me. You need to tell me. Now, Python, SQL, and Excel, good, solid. You should not bold them because people are going to miss it. Because again, we read these in 20 seconds and we have 40 resumes before you, 40 resumes after you. When you read resumes in volume, like recruiters do, bolding makes it worse. Then here, design and automated departmental KPI dashboards. I want data visualization dashboards. I don't care about departmental KPI dashboards. And again, you already stated Python and SQL here. This is not relevant because, again, you already stated here. What you want to do is repeat it here, but not here. And the rule is these, if you want to count them as keywords, you should have the same keyword only once in a job, but you should repeat that in other jobs. So Python should only be once in this blob, but you can put it here and you can put it here. But this, okay, that should not, and this should not be together. Again, one keyword per job. That's the point. All right. If you repeat the same keyword in the same job, it's a loss of space and we don't need it. Then we get down to here. I don't care that you data clean techniques. This is completely irrelevant to what I'm looking for. There is no job that says looking for somebody that is data cleaned, reducing manual reporting time by 40% and improving data accuracy. Not a single job is going to really say that. Conducted A/B testing and data modeling. Data modeling maybe could be related. The rest of that isn't. Using and presented Tableau and Power BI visualizations. Okay, that one's good. To non-technical stakeholders. Okay, but here's the problem. You have misunderstood what a qualification is from a keyword. Recruiters are not keyword hunting. We are qualification hunting. And a keyword is a part of a qualification, but by itself is not a qualification. So a keyword is a skill that they need, right? MS Excel, they need that. Python, they need that. Explaining technical concept, those are skills. Those are keywords. But a qualification, which is what we're looking for, is a keyword plus how you used it, which you kind of do here, plus the reason or result of you using it, which you do not do at all, plus where you use it, which is why skill sections don't matter. And if you do not meet all four of those, not counting education and years of experience or other certifications, then you do not meet the qualification, and thus it will be a problem. So you have confused keywords with qualifications, even though keywords are a part of qualifications. And I know this because we care that you presented Power BI visualizations on technical stakeholders, but why? What do you mean profile completion and knowledge rate? What is knowledge rate by 48%? Like, is that real? I feel like you're just putting in random numbers. So what I would prefer you to say instead is explain the difference between X and Y to non-technical stakeholders using Tableau and Power BI visualizations so they could do X. That is how you need to write it, because right now you have just listed a bunch of keywords. You have not told me the reason or result of you doing it. And then here, analyzed 50K customer records. Who cares? Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, like, this is not relevant. Using Python, Pandas, R, and SQL. That part is good. To identify data quality issues. What's data quality? That's not in the job description. Proving reporting accuracy by 15%. Why not 100%? Were you not good enough? I don't know. You should not have the numbers. Unless you're in sales or a manager or project manager, you should not have numbers and percentages with the exception of your dates of employment and graduation dates. You should not have them, because otherwise your resume just looks like this. Knowledge rate by 48%. That's not a qualification. Knowledge rate by 48% is not a qualification. I will challenge you to find somebody that says we need somebody to increase our knowledge rate by 48% or else we're not moving forward with them. So Served as the sole student representative on the RT board, managing projects impacting students in 400K. Again, this is nice, but this isn't related. How is this related to being a data analyst? It's not. Led initiatives to modernize classroom. Again, I'm glad that you did it, that you enhanced student experience, but that's not related. There's nothing there that I see that is related to this. So part of your problem is you're just confusing keywords and qualifications when I need to know the reason or result. You're muddying it with all these percentages and numbers. You're telling me how you got the data, not what the point of the data was, which is where we actually care about. And you just don't quite have enough of these. You're almost there, but you don't have quite enough. You need about 75%. And your formatting is awful. So you basically did every single thing wrong. And it's not to blame you, right? I'm not saying, oh, look at this, haha, laugh at you. I'm saying these are your problems of why you are struggling to get a role, right? Also, let's be real. We are in a recession. Jobs are harder to come by. It's just the way the world is right now. The economy is terrible right now under the current administration. That's just the truth. But the rest of this stuff also matters. So this is why you have a problem, is because, in a couple economies before under different presidents, well, it wasn't this bad. But this is what happens when the job market is terrible. So I need you to fix everything here, right? Remember, you have some of the right keywords, but they're not qualifications because you don't tell me the reason or result. So fix all of that, which I know is a lot, and you should have a much, much easier time getting a job in interviews because your goal should be less than 1 in 50, right? 1 in 50 is the minimum. You would take over 150 to get a single interview. And applying for jobs is exhausting. I fully agree with everybody there. So that's all I can do for this resume. Before we go on to the next one, I just want to say, please, like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out. Reposting this and leaving a comment really does help me because the algorithm of YouTube is crazy and I don't fully understand it. And if you ever need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlesshheadhunter. And I just want to personally thank all the people who are members on my YouTube channel. You do get videos a little bit early before they go public, and I just want to say thank you very much for being a member. And now let's go to the next resume. This is a cloud architect, specifically Azure. So what we need for an Azure cloud architect is degree, DevOps, CI/CD, and I'm going to repeat that again, GitHub Actions, DevOps, CI/CD, GitHub Actions, DevOps, CI/CD, GitHub Actions, DevOps, CI/CD, GitHub Actions. That was in, I think, almost every single job that I saw. Also, obviously, Azure, but we'll get to that in a second. So if you do not have DevOps, CI/CD, and GitHub Actions, or at least 2 out of the 3, probably can't move you forward. Microsoft 365 and literally all its forms. Then Azure, so Azure Landing Zones, Azure Core, Azure Arc, Azure Migrate. I need to see a lot of things that say Azure and then the other stuff after them. Communicating complex ideas to non-technical stakeholders and customers, that is critical. Some Microsoft certs, I don't need to see a ton of them, just that you have maybe 1 or 2. They're nice to have. PowerShell, infrastructure as code, and then some, but not all jobs we're looking for Bicep, ARM, and Terraform. IT names are weird. So we don't know this person's ratio. They said haven't applied anywhere in 8 years and just want to see if their resume is even workable. So let's see if their resume is even workable. Although I will say this is a relatively hot market, and because of that, your resume doesn't need to be as good as, say, an entry-level software engineer. There was a job that was easy apply that had been up for 3 weeks, and only 80 people have used it. So you're probably safe, and I think this is still a market that is still hiring. That is a good way to tell, by the way, is if a role is easy apply and it's been up for a bit and nobody's applied to it, probably a hot market. There are obviously some exceptions, like if it's in the middle of nowhere, but still, it's a good rule of thumb. So, 20 seconds to find what I need, although because it's a good market, I probably have 40 seconds. So I will give myself more time, because that would be more fair, specifically in a market that is hotter. So, go. Okay. Okay, can't use this. Brownfield, I'm not using that, at least as cloud. Managed and optimizing across Azure, Office 365, Active Directory, good. Deploy and maintain Microsoft Telephone, call voice pipeline integrating Azure AD, code environments, and then we're going to give them another 20 seconds because their market is hot. Yeah, I don't see what I need. I don't see enough what I need to move you forward. Now, with the assumption that, again, I am a US based recruiter and I saw that this is in Poland, I don't know the Poland market at all, to be clear. I've gotten people jobs in the EU, but not all of my information always translates. So I don't know the Poland market, but for the US, which I have to judge this on, this would not have enough. Now, it would have enough to maybe do a phone screen. Because I would imagine there's just not a lot of people in this role, and the recruiter would be probably desperate. So if they see 30% of what they need, they would move you forward, which I kind of do. I see enough Azure that I'd be like Azure 365. I see, although I don't see the title could matter in this one, mainly because you don't put the rest of it, but I do see enough Azure. So you would probably want to change this, right? I think you may need to redo most of this. Use this formatting. It's better. B, I want to see more of this stuff. Like, I actually don't see a ton of Azure, which is kind of not great because there's a lot of Azure stuff I need. So I would like you to say managed Azure infrastructure, such as X, Y, and Z, in our Office 365 environments and blah blah. And then I would like to see you communicating complex ideas to non-technical stakeholder. And then if you have any certs, I would put them up, which should be up at the top. Yeah, these could be useful. They do like these. So they want these certs, they should be up top. The cert should be under your degree, although in this case, because your degree is in physiotherapy, you probably want to put your degree at the bottom, but your cert's at the top. And then this stuff, right? I need to see CI/CD, I need to see DevOps, I need to see GitHub. And you do that and you should be okay. Because again, this is a pretty, there it is. Implemented I missed this. You need that stuff in the bullet points. So again, is this the worst resume ever? No. It's not good, but your market's hot enough that it may not matter. But if the market ever changes, those are the things that you would want to put in. So DevOps, CI/CD, again, you need to put it under a bullet point, not under a key accomplishments. GitHub Actions, Microsoft 365, and then more Azure and explaining complex ideas to non-technical stakeholders, along with, if you can, PowerShell, infrastructure as code, and your certs at the top, but your education at the bottom, because it is not like a CS degree. But that is what I would suggest if you are going to look again. But yeah, again, if you're looking again in the US, you're probably going to have a good time because that market looked pretty good. Next resume. This is a full stack software developer. So what we need for a full stack software developer is a degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. Going to repeat that: TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. That is like so critical. If you do not have that, you probably won't be moved forward, although I will say you could probably replace TypeScript with one of the other backend languages. Node, JS, Angular, Next.js, GraphQL, SQL, API, RESTful API, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, cross-functionally, .NET or Python or Java. Again, just a backend language. Bonus points for architecture, extra language, Git, and DevOps. And can I find this in 20 seconds? Don't know their ratio, so we don't know yet. And go. Okay, good. Santa Claus. Trains large models by evaluating responses. Rated AI-generated code. Where's the actual... Alright. Build a full stack. RESTful APIs. Built a... Okay. JavaScript, HTML, CSS. There we go. Good. API to Scrapfly, and not enough. So there's a couple of flaws with this. Formatting, good job. This is pretty much perfect. So let me say, really appreciate the help and content you offer. There are not that many recruiters on YouTube that do what you do. Thank you. Yeah, I actually don't know if there are any. They usually talk more about like the job search process and like complaints with it, which I think is fair. I don't actually know of any that do continuous resume reviews. I've applied to about 35 jobs since the start of this year without anything back. Like you said, it's probably because hiring is picking up after the holidays in the US. Yeah, you probably won't hear too much back yet. Although there is a problem with this resume, which we can fix. Not a ton. Like, there are problems, but it's not like a delete this and start again. You just need to do some small changes. My old resume was using a generic format called Jake's resume template. Jake's resume template is a C-. It could be a lot worse, but it could be a lot better, but it kind of passes, but barely. That's my opinion on Jake's resume template. I applied to maybe 110 jobs with that resume before I finished my master's and only got one phone call. So yeah, I'm cooked. I don't have a lot of real world experience as a developer, so I think it's going to be harder for me and I need to apply to a lot more positions. Since you've recruited many devs who were probably in the same situation, was there something you recommend that would help me stand out? So first off, you don't want to stand out, you want to stand in. There is a misconception that if you stand out with your resume, you get interviews. You don't. You get rejected. Your resume needs to stand in. Your interviews need to make you stand out. To be clear, the interview is where you stand out, but you do not do that in the resume. So the problems with this, and this person is in my live stream right now, so I'm going to help them after the fact, is primarily you kind of bury the lead here, right? Like that. I don't know if that term makes sense to you, but this is good. I like this. Why is it all the way down here? Like this should be your first sentence, right? Like react to user configure parameters and then put, so what you should do is your first sentence should be built a full stack web page using X and Y JavaScript to enable user configure. Basically combine this with this. I also don't see the backend language. Also, there should be a space between here. That's the only formatting thing you messed up. There should be a space between here and a space between here. That's it. Because there is a space between here just to make it easier. But yeah, like the problem is this has nothing. So the summary should still this tells me what you did, but I also need to know the keywords there for it, right? Like this is where you built a full stack recruiter-led generation platform using XYZ to X and Y and whatever, right? That's where you put it in. And then here, the problem is I don't see anything here that is related necessarily besides a teeny bit of AI. And even in AI, you didn't really tell me a lot besides this. So if anything, I would probably just delete this, keep AI trainer, and then just say identified and corrected logic, educations, and performance issues in... See, I still want it to be up front because at least that will tell you the backend language, which I don't see easily. So I would say corrected issues in Java and JavaScript with our AI's blah, 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 blah. And that will be the only sentence here. So that way it shows that at least you use that, and that's fine. So this doesn't matter. This part does. Then we go down here, and again, let's see what you have, but there's stuff you're missing. So one, no TypeScript, which, again, you have a backend language, so that can kind of work. So you have Java up in the first one. You have this part, which I see, although, again, it's all the way down here when this should be your first line. You have, do I have Node.js? Let's find if I actually have Node.js. Node, yeah, all the way down there, so you do have it. Do I have Angular? Well, I spelled that completely incorrect. It does not look like I have Angular. Is there Next? I don't see Next. Is there GraphQL? I don't see GraphQL. Is there SQL? I do see SQL. Is there Agile? I don't see Agile. Is there CI/CD? I don't see that. So yeah, you have like 65% of what I need, and I need 75. So you need a little bit more. You need to stop burying the good stuff, because this is what they want to see, not necessarily this. So, and you should have a keyword, 3 keywords per bullet point. So I think you really just need to combine this. I know that's a big blob, but you should probably combine that into build a full stack lead generation platform using Java, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, React, in a RESTful API or whatever, right? And then you can have another bullet point or two that has other stuff. Because that's kind of my problem, is like it's kind of blank until you get to here. So again, these are not like, right now this is probably a 1 in 50, maybe 1 in 70. But if you make those changes, it should be a lot better. It's just those changes are not going to take you too long to do. So that's really all I can do for this one. But good first try, I will say. You just need to sort of remember the order of importance, which I try not to get into too much because it's already confusing enough for people. But like, this is the main course, right? Remember, this is the stuff we come to your resume for, not the other stuff. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a Victoria's Secret cashier, but you don't really need to be the Victoria's Secret, it's just a cashier. Now, normally, if a person doxes themselves completely, I will not review their resume. I just want to be clear, that is a rule. If you do not dox yourself, if you do dox yourself completely, I will not review your resume. This person, on the other hand, I think is probably fresh into the job market and is looking for their first job. And I don't want their first experience with a recruiter to actually be just an instant rejection because they are struggling. So even though they technically broke the rules of the channel, I'm giving them one skip, but also warning you all, make sure you remove your contact information. This person put their full picture, don't do that, and their full contact information. So that is why it looks like this. So what we're looking for a cashier is basic computing skills such as MS Office, retail experience, customer service, both in phone and on person, flexible schedule, which there are kind of ways to write in, POS systems, which are point of sale systems if you have it, cash handling, basic math, multitasking, and probably letting your managers know if you're going to be late and covering shifts. So that is what we need. And truthfully, this is how you want to write it. Like, yeah, this is a barista one, and I bring this up a lot, but this is how you write it, right? This is the exact way you want to write this stuff. So this person, first off, needs to follow this format, right? You need to do this. You need to put it like this. This is how it should look. This is how your format is. Now let's go to the actual one. So I am an ambitious college student looking for a work opportunity to expand my professional career and help grow a business. No. Nothing about that is needed. It can be deleted. So, work experience. And this is where you put your education up at top. Because, again, we do need people can't see it because it's under this. You do want they graduated high school, I think this year, and just got into a college. So, that should actually be at the top. Again, that is why you want your education up here. Then here, I work with my dad in his online Amazon business. So, that's actually a good start. Problem is, I need more than that. What is the Amazon business? How did you talk with customers? Because again, you're not telling me how. You can't just say sell products on Amazon and talk with customers. How did you talk? Did you do it via phone? Did you handle complaints about the product? Did you handle returns? Did you deal with customer service? Those are the things that I want to see. Pack and ship and deliver products to customers for prompt shipping. Again, that's not necessary for the role for a cashier, so it can be deleted. Kept strict one-day delivery timelines to make sure customers receive their product on time. That actually shows that you can handle a deadline, so that one's actually good. Responsible for marketing promotions such as buy two get one free. Again, that's not related. You are not going to be one to decide that at a big store chain. That is going to be, well, unless it's changed in the 12 years since I was one of those. They're going to tell you what to do and you have to do it. So this is not related. Purchase shipping materials to make sure we have enough, inventory, again, not needed. Help in procurement, again, not needed. Ordered products from different vendors. How you ordered matters. This shows that you could use basic computer skills, because again, there are people that apply for these jobs that don't know how to turn on a computer. So you need to show that. So the problem with this is there's basically like nothing here that is related for a cashier except for this. So I need to see how you talked with customers. But let me read what you actually wrote. That actually will matter. I'm a college student and new at this. I also get overstimulated, so I can never pinpoint who to trust. Well, let me help you. All right? I have gotten people jobs at all levels of stuff. Except I don't think have I gotten a high level, like, not CEOs yet. I was very close. One of my candidates almost got it. Almost, but was very close to like that level. But everything else I've basically done. So yeah, don't worry about this. The thing is, your goal should be to show them that you've already done what they're looking for. So I need to see how you can do math, right? That's not Grammarly. How you can give change back to a customer, right? If someone handles you $13.79 and the product is $18.53, how much change are you giving? I actually need to write that down because I can't do it off the top of my head because I can't hold numbers in my head. But that's the stuff that they need to see. So Take a look at this, because this is how I want to see operator point of sale cash register to collect money from customers and perform basic math to give them proper change, keeping them engaged with customer service while I prepare their food and beverages. Now, while you may not have done that, you have probably done something similar. You have probably worked with your father's online business and talked to customers via email. Boom, that shows that you can do customer service and that you can work a computer, that you can ship products on a deadline while talking to customers, multitasking. So I need you to show me how you've done this stuff already, right? It's not, I don't want to see how good you are. I want to see that you've already done it so that when I hire you, there's not a big lead up time in hiring. So that is the goal to which you should aim. And that is why this does not work, is you tell me, these are your hobbies, but you don't show me how you do it. You tell me you're a strong communicator, but you don't show me how you do it. Able to work nights and weekends, actually good, should keep that in. They will like that. But you also have to tell me how you're computer and technology literate. What is that? Are you able to code hello world, or are you able to copy paste on a spreadsheet, which is all they're really asking. So I need you to show, not tell. And this resume tells me I did X, I did Y, but there's no context. I need you to tell me how you did it and the reason and result of you doing it, and then what you did. And if you do that, you should have no problem, because honestly, there's people don't want to do these jobs, which, fair, they're really rough jobs. Honestly, I think the hardest jobs I ever had were these entry-level customer service jobs. Those were kind of the hardest ones. So you actually aren't gonna have the craziest struggle, but you want to make sure that you write your resume in a way that shows me how, not just tells me. And then you should be getting your first job, and then you can use that of how you built this resume with other skills to your full-time job once you get it. So next, resume. And don't dox yourself again. Also, don't put your picture. This is a full stack software engineer new grad. So what we need for full stack is, I think I already did full stack in this one. Yes, I did. So I don't need to repeat the keywords for this. Y'all already know them. It's right up here, at least in the US. Sometimes outside the US it's a little different. This is unknown, so we don't know how many applications they've sent in or their ratio, but let's look at this. So 20 seconds and go. Integrated multi-environment, GitLab. Okay. Where's the actual full stack? Python, Docker, GitLab. You already mentioned GitLab, Terraform, AWS. Where's the full stack? You mentioned everything but what I wanted. Revamped Rocket's main page, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP. Okay, good. See, this is good. You already mentioned some of this, though. Excuse me. And time. Yeah, you buried the lead here. Again, y'all are putting the important stuff in the second or third job. So let me read what you wrote. This could maybe pass. Probably not, though, because the first one is a little bare bones. But it is good that you have AWS. So, any cloud. Okay, so thanks for your videos. They've been a huge help. So I've redone my resume from really poor bullet points in Jake's format to your template. I'm not fully confident in my bullet points still, to be honest. They're okay. They can definitely be improved, but they're not, awful to lead it. It's really just the ordering at this point. A big question I have is my biggest full stack experience were my first 2 internships, while my most recent internship had a focus in DevOps. I do plan on making a resume for DevOps in the future, but as it stands, how much does it pass for full stack? I mean, it doesn't really have anything full stack related. What changes would you recommend? Thank you for taking the time to review it. So we kind of just want to shrink it. So if you have been in a job that is not as related to the previous jobs, you just shrink it down, right? The normal rule is 3 bullet points at a minimum per job. But if those are not all related, then we can shrink it. So I want you to instead put, let's see, created X using Y and Z in AWS. And that'll be it. That'll be it. That'll be your first internship. It'll just be a single sentence that says probably GitLab, CI/CD, Python, Bash, and Docker, and AWS. And that's it. That'll be it. And then you can move down to this, right? And then I want, again, I know everybody, React and Node is important, but y'all, TypeScript is more important. So this should be first, right? Should be built a app using, and you don't need the brackets, TypeScript, HTML, JavaScript, CSS in an AWS environment, and then the next one could be using Node and React or React and Agile. So again, this is not bad. This is not like garbage, delete it. It's just your ordering is a little off. And I think we might be missing something too. So I have this, which is good. I saw Node. I saw Next. I think I'm missing RESTful APIs. Yeah, I will need RESTful APIs. That isn't like everything. I do need it. I do also need SQL. I don't see SQL. Yeah, I need SQL as well. So I need SQL. I need RESTful APIs. I did see CI/CD, which was good. I saw Cloud, which was good. I did see Agile, although you buried it. Cross-functional is nice to have. And you did have this because you had Python. So again, I really kind of need the SQL and RESTful APIs. And then I need you to reorder some of these bullet points to put what is most important up top. Because remember, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS in a AWS environment is a perfectly good sentence if you describe what you do. That has like everything I need. So yeah, you're also in chat right now, but there's not a ton you need to do with this. It's just like I said, reordering. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. And thank you all to my members who are membered. It's not the word is subscribed, but thank you all. You get access to videos a little bit early, and I appreciate that. So please repost it to your friends. And if you ever need more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And I will see you all in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search.